It was a stupid one. Like we planned to go in there and do a Fed and help them with the Fed rob, and then all that happened was they all just left, so it was kind of pointless. Let me fix our current. Jesus Christ! Rip. So, what do you guys want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Fed prison timers, break down the new release candidates, hunting grounds? What do you want to start with? Anybody?
Well, I say let's start with the release candidates. That's kind of news, right?
Alright, so we'll start with release candidate. We'll break it down. We'll talk about everything with it. You can give your opinions on it. All that great stuff.
What's the background noise?
Is that mine? Or is that...
Possibly.
It might be.
Hold on.
I don't.
I'm on a laptop, that's why.
It's not Aries, it's Charlie, so that's all I know. Let me get everyone the link for the update in chat. If I can find the update, that'd be great.
There's my mic being muted to make that go away.
I don't know, mute it. Let's see.
Oh yeah, if it's background noise, it won't happen. Yeah. Bring Snake
that
back.
works.
Rip you, Snake. Rip.
Yeah, just unmute the mic when you want to talk, and that works.
Just dead silent at that point. All right, so we'll break down the release candidate. I'll put it in the chat in here too, or in the TeamSpeak chat. And if you guys want to click it, you can and go to it, and it'll be a fast way for you to grab it. Lots of bigger things I think in this update than like the previous one with 7. It was kind of mainly bug changes and just tweaking. Trunk upgrades and stuff like that. Biggest thing in this update, in my opinion, would probably be cops and how they earn money. I think it was a big problem was before is cops were making too much money when they played. How did he put it? Like money was coming out of thin air, basically. With this one, you're forcing someone to have to pay a fine regardless. If you don't know, it's you go to jail, the cop gets 20% of whatever it was, and then you also pay 20% for being jailed. So you still have to pay money of going into jail, but it's also cheaper to go to jail than it is to pay your ticket. This way, cops aren't getting this absurd amount of money from arresting like a $5 million person. So,
Yeah, I think this is pretty awesome in my opinion because as a cop, you would get this bounty, well, you'd get money that appeared out of thin air for arresting someone versus them paying their ticket. So what it was is you just have this. I think that honestly was what inflates the server money to a whole lot because you just have just money coming out of nowhere. And the thing now with it is that cops are going to try and convince you to pay your ticket because that's how they're going to get their money now. At least the most of it. They're going to get 100% of the ticket if you pay your ticket, which is awesome because that means I'm not going to sit here and just run through my processing and say, all right, you're going to jail and I'm going to get $1 million. It's going to be, all right, if I send him to jail, I get $200K, but if I get him to pay his ticket, he pays $1 million.
maybe you'll RP more with it too.
Maybe I'll RP, and even if I give him a half ticket, that's better than sending him to jail. You know what I mean? So that's even still more desirable. So yeah, there's going to be some. I think this definitely encourage the RP on the cop side a lot more, and this is really really good. This should stop a lot of problems from happening.
First, you probably give the most tickets here of anybody. What are your opinions
Not
on that change?
anymore, unfortunately. I forgot how to process people.
Really? Well, when if a certain unknown thing happens or doesn't happen, if it does, are you going to remember how to process people again?
Probably not. I think that when the wipe does happen, what I've realized.
There's gonna be a wipe.
Okay, well, if a wipe does happen. What I've realized here the past little bit is money is irrelevant, and I've just been saying this. I said, once you have $5 million currently, you have a helicopter, you have $5 million, you'll never go below that set point.
So you're saying if you have $5 million, you're probably never going to hit below that. What if you're someone that moves houses a lot? That's the thing with me is I like to move my houses a lot. I like to have a different scenery, a lot, because I'm not always doing the same drug or the same legal item. So if you move a lot, $5 million isn't gonna, it's not gonna be enough.
I guess it depends on how expensive they intend on making housing. Because right now it's 2.2 mil plus the crates, so that's pretty cheap.
Plus the upgrade for each for virtual inventory is what?
I don't know the current housing model. I'm saying the one that we're playing on right now.
Oh, okay.
Is ridiculously cheap.
Yeah,
mushroom run and a habit will cover your house and all your crates.
Okay, so with the change though with housing, because what it's going to be is so far the price was still the same, at least on the dev server. What will change is you have to, either you can upgrade your housing storage for your virtual inventory, and then you can also buy crates for your physical stuff, which it depends on how much physical crap you use will determine how many crates you want to buy for that house. And the last time I checked, it was 330,000 for every 700. So you're looking at roughly another mil if you have a 4-crate house. So about 3.2 mil. So one house move, you're down to less than 2 mil already. But I do agree. Once you hit that higher, if you hit the higher, 5 mil mark, you don't actually move houses, then you're really not going to hit below that unless you don't go crazy and buy 50 cows out the yin yang. But so your focus, if a unknown possible wipe happens, will be just focusing on not money this time. Like, is that going to be your thing?
Yeah, I really couldn't see myself grinding as hard as I did to get to a bill. Honestly.
Probably do it anyway.
Probably do it. Maybe I say that now, but I honestly couldn't see it.
I got you.
Couldn't see
But,
myself
happen?
grinding.
You wouldn't go for it, but still, in like weeks, you would have.
I would still make money, but that's just the nature of the way I play. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, people I play with make way more money than I do currently, but I still make money partially because of salary. Like the 5K salary every 5 minutes is ridiculously.
That is something that I did want to bring up because, like, I know we're changing a lot of I know the economy is changing. I think it said in the update actually that cops the values of bounties are going to be halved across the board for bounties, which is awesome. However, if you think about a cop's paycheck, I think what is it, a deputy or whatever is not that much higher. I think the really base price is like what, 400-ish.
$400 is the normal amount you make for civilian. So
right, and then as deputy, so you make 800 as a deputy or whatever, and it goes up by 800 each rank or whatever. Not too bad, unless you're like a donator, then you're making, like, for instance, right now as a sergeant, I'm getting 4,500 base from 4,500 from being a $250 donator, and obviously that's
4,400, but yeah.
Right, and then plus 1,600 from being a sergeant, so that's 4 ranks of cop, and then so that ended up giving me 6.5K every 5 minutes, which is basically like after about 20 minutes go by, I've made myself pretty much a decent half of a manslaughter, or what the new manslaughter charge will be, in 20 minutes. So it's like, it's kind of a lot of money. At the same time, though, it kind of sucks because if you take away something from donators, then it's like, oh, well, I donated for that, now you're taking it away. So I don't know what to do about that. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that some people will complain depending on how much money they have. Personally, it wouldn't affect me at all if I got a lower base pay from it. And I think that might be another reason why people donate too. They look at like, oh shit, I get another $800, on top of my 400 just from playing. So
Right.
whether or not they'll complain about it is just going to depend on the person. But if it was my choice, I definitely would lower how much people are getting from everything. Because I didn't even know that APD got more. I wasn't aware that the more you rise, the more money you get paid as well. Which I don't see the point in that. You're doing the same jobs in game. If the whole point of raising your money is because of stuff you do out of game, like a sergeant hire, then maybe I understand it. But
R&R and APD both get it that way.
Think of it this way: you're in a real world job. The higher rank, or higher position that you go up in that job, the more money you get paid for your wage. Think of it that way, though.
Yeah, I mean, in RP sense, I can understand it. It makes total sense. The more, the higher rank you get, the more money you get. But if you're looking to decrease how much money people are getting, it might be a good thing to look into, even if it's only lowering it by, if you're having it or whatever it may be, depending on, rank wise. Maybe you don't make as much for each upgrade, but you still make more. For not upgrade, but each rise of the ranks. Maybe you just don't make as much as more.
Yeah, it would make sense if, with the economy, at least with cop prices being halved, if that's kind of like the theme of how everything's going for the rest of the prices for Civ 2, that would make sense to do that for the paychecks, I would think, right?
I think I think one of the reasons they're doing that though is because if they kept the manslaughter at the current price that it is, you got people reaching, like 8, 10 mil bounties from time to time, and they get sent to jail. That's what, a couple mil that they would lose from being sent to jail on that. So by reducing it, you're kind of protecting the civilian from losing so much money if they do choose to go to jail.
Right.
Yeah, because they'd have to work a lot harder to get those $10 million bounties than they would now. It's a tricky thing. I mean, it's something that's going to be looked into. It's like when Poseidon was doing changes with drugs and like how much you would sell them for, like that. It's going to be something that everyone's going to have to put their input on, and not just have like one person be like, "Oh, this is what it needs to be," because you're only going to get one opinion from that, and you want to get as many as you can. Fluffy, do you have an opinion on anything regarding it? I know you kind of came back with Cop recently.
No, actually, I don't. What you guys have said is, I agree with what you guys are talking about right now.
Gotcha. So that was kind of like the main thing, I think, with the whole test, the whole release candidate 8. Some of the things would be with hunting. It was brought in that raw and processed version for each animal meat. There is no way to process them right now, but Virus had an idea to have it for processing. When we hop into the whole hunting ground thing, you can bring that back up, Virus. Other stuff we got would be ATMs everywhere. So how it is now is a lot of people will camp those ATMs depending on where it may be. I definitely think that having ATMs everywhere is going to be a huge change, especially for people when they buy houses. They may look to buy a house that's closer to the ATM in that city. Opinions at all?
On the hunting grounds or on the
ATM. So we'll go through release candidate and then we'll break into hunting, so you can talk about your whole little processing idea and stuff.
So opinions on ATMs?
Or ATMs, correct? Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, the way I understand it, if there's an ATM module or whatever, even if it's not marked on the map or whatever, you can use it with the action key, which is your Windows key, for y'all you guys out there. That's cool. That's a really it'll be interesting actually, because one of the things that's cool is that if you have ATMs in town, people eventually have to go to towns or service stations or just these points on the map to store their drug money or whatever money it is. Whereas if you have it to where it's everywhere, it's kind of interesting because people can store their money at their house, which they already store their drugs at their house. So what I think you might start seeing is gangs sitting on very specific sides of the map now, since they'll have ATMs wherever their houses are, most likely. So I think that'll be interesting. I mean, you'll see them come out for drug deals and for robberies, but as far as once the gang claims a drug and they have their ATMs in that area, that's where they're going to deposit their money too, around their house. So it'll be interesting. I'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, you'll probably see more gangs buying up certain areas to try to control the whole area. So it'll be interesting.
My first thought when I heard that he was making it that you could use ATMs, I thought the reason they were moving the gun stores was to get them away from the ATMs so that people couldn't just run, grab money, buy a rook, and come back. And now in doing this, you go to DP1. I'm not sure. I obviously don't spend a lot of time there. That's where the gun store for Kavala is going to be. And if there is an ATM there that you can access with Windows key, then that is not really changing the problem in terms of Kavala. You know what I mean? Like
the point of moving it though was, I don't think it was just to stop people from being able to instantly buy a weapon in Kavala and then just walk 10 feet and start shooting people, to where now they actually have to travel to, a city or two over to be able to get their weapon and come back. I mean, it's not going to change anything in terms of, even if they had to get their money with them to get there, it won't change anything. I mean, it'll still exactly be the same of how they want it. So.
Well, the way I'm seeing it is, you look at I know a couple of the MC guys love the Kavala Rook Alley there. And by putting the ATM there before, if you think about it, there would be no point in buying.
Oh, you're okay.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So now you buy a place you can spawn, run, grab money, ATM, camp the gun store, and just rehash through what Kavala was all over again.
But now it's just Neri.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess they could just store the weapons in their house anyways.
Yeah. It's just,
but it's still
easier access.
Still really easy to kind of recreate the problem.
I think the main reason why he did it is to limit the amount of fuel that the RDMers get. Now, if there's not enough people to do the RDM, well, get killed by the RDMers, then it won't show as much. They'll just get bored and leave. That's, I think, the main reason that he did it.
Versus like having like a constant flow of people, spawning there and being able to keep killing more people. I mean, people are going to go to near you. They're going to get their gun. They're going to leave. So I don't think they're going to be able to have that source of people that just sit there all the time. So it'll help.
I think honestly, like RDM is going to be less of an issue with the whole combat logging fix that we talked about last podcast, because most RDMers who RDM and they get caught combat log, and so when they combat log and then they find out they're in jail when they come back, I mean that's going to cut down a lot on that. I think they're still going to obviously be your RDMers, never get rid of them forever, but still I think it will be less of a problem.
But what's up?
We do our best to get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean, as long as people submit the reports, something can be done about them. I think because you brought up the whole skeleton thing with combat loggers, I think that's the reason why they really get those bounties so high, though, is because they just keep combat logging over and over again, and you never have a chance to jail them. They don't have money is usually what the case is. They're fresh to the server. They use their quick cash they have to buy their gun and all that kind of stuff, and they just get right into it. So, I mean, if we're able to keep jailing them, they might just realize, like, okay, holy shit, like, I can't just quick RDM on the server. I'm going to get jailed instantly, and there's no coming back with all my gear. So, and to the people in chat, we do read your guys' messages, at least I do. The problem is, though, is, like, I don't want to, like, cut people off to, like, reply to your comment and stuff like that. And, I mean, they're all good points and stuff, and if you have topics to talk about, we'll read them from there. But there's just not much, I can really respond to all of them when we need to. Is there anything else in the candidate update that you guys want to talk about? It's a lot of it's bug fixes and then a few major things.
So this is actually kind of just relevant because everyone knows about it. So you know how you guys, when you log out with your magazines, you fire some magazines, but you don't empty the mag, but then you log back in and you have all your ammo and all your magazines full. That's going to be a thing of the past because now when you log in, your bullets are going to sink before you log out, and then so that you're going to log in with your mags, and it's going to automatically load your most full mag, and but you're still going to have your mags that are half empty or whatever when you reloaded previously. So
we'll see more money spent on mags, though, that's for sure.
Yep, definitely a decent amount, especially if you don't die as much. So.
I think that definitely is a huge nerf to the Mark 200 in terms of why people would use it.
Oh, that makes that kind of money sink, definitely. Even more.
Now.
Like, before you would just empty down to the one bullet, reload, and then just come back with a full mag.
Or you just, like, store it all in your house after you're done, and then you come back and you just have the 6 mags in your gun, and you're just like, oh, I forgot I had you in here, and that's not happening anymore.
Right. Also, medics can enter their own vehicles even if they're locked, just like cops. They can't do that with anyone else's vehicles unless it's unlocked, but that's just awesome for medics, so yay medics.
Yeah, so some things that were fixed, some things that were good. Obviously, the biggest things were ATMs and the whole cop thing. So the cop is nice. I'm interested with it. But why don't we talk about the hunting ground? So like, we never really covered anything with it because it just came out a couple days ago. Is when he actually posted it, I think. Virus, you talked about how they could do the whole processing of it. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, one of the things that I thought of when I saw the hunting grounds and there was no means to process it was maybe putting like a butcher in town, similar to, I know you don't process fish, but like the fish market, you could purchase, different types of fish, and it would be obviously a certain market there for the, I don't know if it's skins or meats or whatever they're looking to, you're able to sell there. But I think it would be also interesting if, with the whole cocaine and meth giving you these perks, if there was some sort of perk associated with eating processed meat or something along those lines.
What would be your thing for processed meat, though? Like, what would be the purpose of eating it? Like, I don't know anything that you could do for it. It's like, basically, you get a perk for eating food? I mean...
I don't know, I was thinking, if you eat the food, the processed food, it either sustains your hunger for longer so you don't drop fat, your hunger doesn't drop fast, or something along those lines. You can eat to 100 without getting fatigued.
Okay, because basically instead of eating, tactical bacon all the time to raise your thing, you eat something that's more of an actual meal, so you stay fuller longer, I guess.
Yeah, and you don't get fatigued puts you to full and you don't get fatigued.
Okay. I think it would work. I was confused when you said the first time. I was like, I don't know how that would really work, but I like the whole processing idea of it. You know, I don't want to like go to some random like section of what is it like? You know, they have the silver processor and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to ever have to go there for it. I think it's cooler that you have like a local butcher you go to process your kind of stuff. That would be a cool thing to add in there. Aries, write that down. And then I don't know. If you could, I guess when you kill the animals you kill, it'd be kind of cool if you kind of got fur and like unprocessed meat or something, and then you can kind of like sell like pelts or whatever you want to do. That would be cool. Like a little addition to it as well.
I don't know if you just saw that chat, but Zombify made a good point. If maybe you ate the meat and it would maybe make your accuracy better for a short amount of time.
Turns you into a redneck.
No, Jackson, we're not going to call a vote to get the greatest community, our Olympus member of the community has ever seen.
Or eating like unprocessed meat has like a chance to like damage you slightly.
Like you get food poisoning or some shit.
Yeah, a little bit of H1Z1 in there.
What else could you really do with it? I don't even know what animals are in the hunting grounds. Do you know, Aries?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
It's anything you see, like the rabbits that's on running around the roads, that kind of stuff. Rabbits, snakes, that kind of stuff.
Okay, I thought he said sheeps, but I don't remember if that was one of the things.
I had to look for about half an hour. I couldn't find any animals, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
know.
know.
Like rabbits and snakes are there.
Yeah, because he made a little when you put a recent update of it, that's what it was. I think it was sheeps. I don't know. I don't know what the default animals are in Arma. So snakes are in the hunting grounds. Yeah, I know that, Jorbus, now. No. Apparently, virus snake wants to be your best friend. Oh, never mind. I lied. He is your best friend apparently, but he wants to banish you because apparently you're the greatest hacker the Olympus community has ever known. So there you go.
Oh yeah, he hasn't been caught yet. So who knows? One day.
You're gonna show up in that little thing. What was it that he posted? The
list.
Yeah, the list. You're just gonna someone's just gonna go on and be virus and just get caught, and then everyone's just gonna have like this whole entire like virus fucking got caught for cheating finally. Jesus Christ.
The actual funny thing about that list is there were a couple names on there who I was messaged by telling me to turn my hacks off for a fair fight.
That's funny. What if it was just all some sort of elaborate ruse where it's like Poseidon had this deal like, yeah, virus, you can play on this server and hack, I don't care, and Poseidon just spectates him and watch him destroy people and laughs. That'd be
Or
funny.
I am Poseidon.
You are Poseidon. You're Poseidon himself.
That's why he never
You
talks on his streams. Doesn't want
Yeah.
to get caught.
I code and play cop at the same time.
I'd be surprised. Hunting grounds are, I mean, it's cool. I think it's a little nice addition to the game. There's not much to talk about with it, obviously, but it's something else to add. I never thought he would add it. Like, I knew other servers had the whole hunting thing. I just thought it was one of those things that we would never see. And I know Gendrax said the same thing. Like, he was surprised when he was like, oh, I'm working on the hunting grounds. So
It'll be cool, but I wish there was some sort of like hunting rifle, just something that was bolt action, but not powerful enough to be, like super powerful. You know what I mean? Even if it was like a 7.62 bolt action, like it's still the same damage as Mark 18, but just bolt action. I know that doesn't exist, but this would be awesome. Maybe we'll get something like that in the marksman update. That would be nice.
A Raheem with a one bullet and a clip or something like that. You had to reload after every shot.
It's like it would be like the links of the 408, except with a 7.62 and not a 408 or 50 cal. You know what I mean? Something that feels good when you shoot it. That's what a bolt
Arma
action.
have a bolt action? The links? Is it bolt action or is it not?
I think the
No,
links.
it's not.
I think the 408 is. I'm fairly certain. I don't know.
I don't even know what snipers they even have in the goddamn game. To be honest with you.
I think it's the M320 LLRR or something like that. I think that's what it's called. But I don't know if they have the animation for him actually pulling the bolt back and stuff. I think they just gives you like a delay before you can shoot again.
I have this vision of the hunting grounds now that Aries had said it was close to Kavala of just fresh spawns out there with rooks just swinging in a field, picking up their rabbit pelts and
battling it out to who can get the most animals and start robbing people for their current animals.
Oh my god.
It would be interesting.
That would be spectate worthy for sure.
Do we want to talk about Fed and prison timers and the whole APD crap, like the whole wave rule for it? You brought it up as a topic, McDilly, so I'll let you run with it, whatever you were going to do with it.
What was the topic? I'm sorry.
Fed and prison timers. You brought that up before.
Yeah. So we this has actually just come up, but it also come up previously. Fed timers and prison timers. They're very short, especially now. The way that the wave rule works, I mean, it's the way that it always worked. Essentially, it's just clarified now. The way that the wave rule works is you have to have everyone present be at HQ before you start a wave, and this is, however, the only exception is if everyone in a wave dies. Once the last guy dies, your wave can start, and then once the last guy respawns, he can respawn into the wave and still go in if he's still going to participate in the wave. So he'll get there a little late, but essentially, you have to wait on everybody, right? So, especially if you're coming from different locations, or if one guy retreats, he has to retreat back to HQ before everyone at HQ can leave and start the next wave. So, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That's a good thing, in my opinion. Because it gives the rebels time to do what they need to do to recuperate or decide what their next move is, or whatever, and the police time to strategize their next attack. The problem is, with Fed timers and prison break timers being only 10 minutes, it doesn't leave a lot of room for like that many waves. You get 2 waves in there if you happen to be in the area, 3 waves if you get slaughtered really quickly. But it's really doesn't go beyond that, so it's kind of just really short-lived unless they decide to stay after those 10 minutes, which if it's a prison break, they'll stay if their plan the entire time was killing cops and not setting someone loose. Whereas with a Fed, they might stay for the gold, or they'll probably leave because they tried to kill cops, or they'll stay to kill cops, or whatever it is. It's just not enough time to actually get everything done. If you need to strategize, it's a group that knows what they're doing. It's going to take some attempts for the APD to figure out a strategy that's going to work. So,
and take into account now that it's moving too, right? With the whole the jail's moving, so it's gonna be farther away from where you spawn. Unlike now, where you just drive 30 feet and you're there. So,
right, exactly. So, it's which in my opinion that's kind of a good thing, but at the same time, with 10-minute timers, it leaves a lot to be desired as far as the fight.
So, how long would you want them to be then? If you had if you could decide, what would be the time that you would choose?
If it was up to me, I would say double it, make it 20 minutes. I would say that's a decent amount of time to fight. It's not too long, but it's long enough to where the rebels got to make sure that they play it smart. They got to have their positions good, and they got to be coordinated. Cops have enough time to coordinate instead of rushing in and making sure they get in fast enough to actually take care of the problem and going in all haphazard. So and only being able to go in there for like a couple waves. Like if you're in Kabbalah and a prison break starts, hell, if you're in Athira or Sophia and a prison break starts, by the time everybody gets there ready to start that wave, already 4 minutes have passed if you're in Athira. By the time you get there, I mean, that's just, it's already almost halfway done, and you just got there for your first wave. Like that, this just kind of sucks. So I would say 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Would you want to be like one long 20-minute timer, or like, because you know how it has like the outside door? Whatever kind of door you want to call that, but it has the outside door. Would you want them to have to put 2 charges down, like put one down, once that one's sealed, they can go into the next door, and then finally blow up the wall? Would that be better, or just have a long 20-minute timer?
I mean, either way could work, and I would say 2 bombs is redundant because it doesn't make sense. I'd rather have the long 20-minute because, excuse me, having 2 bombs is just like, why have 2 bombs when you could just make 1 bomb more expensive and then just do it for 20 minutes? Just do that. Don't make it have to fill up 2 extra inventory slots for no reason. Just make it heavier if you wanted to do that.
Gotcha. Fires, Aries, Fluffy, opinions, thoughts, comments, concerns?
Just a side note on that. If you do make it longer, think of it this way. When we get killed, can respawn and go back. They have to stay there, and then if they get killed, they can't come back. Actually, they can come back since it's an illegal area and cop versus Sith. But let's say they get tased on 75 health. Their aim is more shaky. It's harder for them to shoot. So as time progresses, it gets easier for the cops and harder for the Siths. not
It
weapons.
that depends. I feel like if they have the defensive advantage, then that's their advantage the entire way through. And yeah, if you tase people, they'll get 75 health and all that. But at the same time, it's the cops assaulting the defensive position. So it kind of, in my opinion, I feel like it kind of bounces out in a way that the civs have a defensive position, so they have the fortification, and the cops have to assault it. So even if they only have 75 health, all of them, you're right that yeah, they have to sway, but they're also going to be prone or in positions where they're not going to be moving around too much, and they're going to watch the entrances where you have to move around and then have to deal with your aim and all that in that situation. So I don't know. I don't think that's a huge thing. I know that you can whittle them down. Like what I like to do sometimes is use the Ghost Hawk to, if I get people restrained in a Fed, and if they happen to be out of the line of fire of any known shooters, then we'll put them in the Ghost Hawk during the assault or something like that, at a Fed or a prison or whatever, just to take them out of that fight. And that's something that is a valid point there, because then you are whittling them down and making it longer for them. So I can see where you're coming from on that point.
I think one thing you have to take into consideration too, though, is the fact that you have not tried out like a jailbreak at the new jail. So we have
Right.
no idea how hard it's going to be for them to defend. No, we don't know how hard it's going to be for us to, infiltrate and actually get the people out of there. Because there's 3 entrances total that they can come through. Versus now it's like you're left with water and with flights and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's actually 3 ways you can get in, and I think you'll have to try it out. Try it out with the new jail. See how it goes. If it's too hard for one side. If it's too hard for the cops, make it longer for the rebels. If it's
Well, that's fine. My problem is more or less with just arriving there on time.
Yeah, I think it's got to be at least 15. No, it has to be 15.
Just so you can get there in time for, like, if you're in Kavala or Thera or whatever you are, and then a jail starts, like, just so you can get there in time to actually have the fight. It's less about like how long you have to fight. Like if it starts and you're in Pargos 10 minutes, is fine in my opinion, because you're gonna get 3 or 4 waves in. But if you're not there, then it takes like 4 or 5 minutes to get there, and then it's already almost over. So that's my problem with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say my whole thought there on the jailbreak was that in that whole area, it feels like it's very reminiscent of a cocaine processing type situation where there's the main building that you would process in, and then everything else around it is like just so easy to shoot in from. So I feel like if people are going to be shooting from outside, which is more than likely going to be happening, I don't think too many people are going to post up in those towers, then you're going to see it very hard to get in there with large groups. It's going to be fought mostly outside that area, I think.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna still stay by the fact that you have to try it out, see how it goes, and then you can actually finally make a real opinion on it. But 15 minutes, I would agree with too. I think that 10 minutes is really short, especially when you're on Rebel side. You notice there's long periods where cops aren't going to be there, because usually it's like, oh, let's just leave the last deputy alive, or you can't find the last person. So increasing the time would definitely be better.
Another thing I wanted to touch on was the current wave rule example that has been put in the handbook. It seems very weird to me that either the wording or I'm not fully understanding it, but if you go after the last person dies, how could that person respawn and realistically be considered part of the next wave?
I can't remember the exact words what Ace put it to me, but it was something along these lines. Oh gosh, what was it? He would have been in the wave anyway. You still would have had to wait the 1 minute for him to respawn. So he is just joining in the fight after the 1 minute's up, essentially.
I feel like the way that, in my opinion, I feel like the way that jailbreaks are currently, with the timer being as short as it is, could not promote like a full 1 minute between waves with everyone being at the HQ, because it's just too short. You get like 1, maybe 2 waves in. But I feel like if you bump the timer up and you do make it so everyone has to go at the same time, there is no way that anyone could ever accuse you of wave breaking. Because from the civilian standpoint, you don't know when a wave ends until you hear the sirens coming down the road 5 seconds after the last person dies. So you have almost no time to react. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, 15 minutes is probably a good compromise level, but I I agree that yeah, we need to try out the new jail, but my bigger problem was just getting there in time was the thing. What were you gonna say, Aries?
With the wave rule, uh, I know where you're coming from, and I think it's just got a bit of confusion on how it's being done, and people thinking that you have to wait until everyone's respawned into the HQ before they can leave. Like, a lot of people have come up to me and asked that, and I've corrected them saying it's this. So I'll speak to Ace about it, seeing if we can make it more black and white for you.
Well, I just feel like it's almost at the point where why even have it be responding in waves? Because it's so unpredictable at that point when you're gonna have, say 6 officers coming back in 5 seconds after the last one dies, and then you're gonna have one officer straggling in after.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're actually fighting a wave. You're just like, and not to mention when people crash too, because then you're gonna have even more stragglers.
Like you mean like crash a car?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because like then it's like an honor system where like you're relying on the cop to have been at that HQ, but there's no way you could ever know that they were. They could have just driven in, from Athera, but they could be like, oh well, I crashed my car outside of the HQ. That's why I was late. Even though from the civilian standpoint, they'd be like, well, you were so late, it's like you weren't part of the wave.
What were you gonna say, Fluffy?
Falcon brought up a point of people shooting from HQ into the prison, and how are you supposed to know if they're in the wave or what wave they are actually a part of?
Yeah, that's
From the rebel side, that is.
if my thing about shooting from the HQ, as far as that prison goes, first of all, that's not going to be a thing that we have to deal with for much longer once the prison gets moved. But for now, the way it is, if you are in the HQ setting up for your next wave or whatever, and you get fired on from the prison into the HQ, I say you have every right to defend yourself, shoot back, and then leave when your wave starts. But as far as sitting there and shooting from the HQ just to shoot from there and try and take out the enemy, no, you need to be like in a wave going in. If you want to set up outside, that's fine and everything, but you need to not set up in HQ because that just doesn't make sense. You just basically just sit there and everything.
It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's practically you're making a wave that no one else can respawn. Do not
Yeah.
HQ because you're in that wave and people can't go back. So it's
Never-ending wave at that point.
Yeah.
If you're just shooting from the HQ.
You would have to leave that HQ and go to another one. Closest one from like jail, HQ. Pretty much useless there.
Yeah. No. Well, thankfully that's not going to be a huge problem anymore. I think the only time else you'll see it may be from like Air HQ to Fed, but honestly, that's not really going to work out very well. Because I think the sight lines aren't very good on the Fed from the Air HQ, so it shouldn't be a problem for too long. Hopefully.
Yeah, you can really only shoot to the domes, and it's like between an 800 kilometer shot. So
yeah,
only Honey Boo Boo could hit that.
Well, anyway, so Warfare had to step out. So in the meantime, let's see here. So I was checking out some topics.
We could talk about the fuel trucks.
Yeah, I wanted to bring the fuel trucks up.
Yeah, so apparently there's going to be new fuel trucks. Like, I saw the Hemet, Zamak, and something else. What was it? The Tempest.
Tempest.
Yeah, that'll be really nice, actually, to be honest, especially because we had talked about I think 2 weeks ago or something like that, how we had suggested that oil prices affect gas prices and that there is a gas price to pay to use the pump at a gas station. You already pay for fuel cans, so why not also pay for the pump to fill up your gas like in your car? And then the oil market could directly translate into the gas prices. Well, it would definitely be useful now if that happened also with the HEMT and just better vehicles for doing oil. Because that's a pretty good legal process, but the fuel truck's a little bit limiting on how versatile you can be with doing that and how much you want to spend on it.
Yeah, what I see with honestly, I feel like the fuel truck update is a little bit unnecessary for the amount of people that run oil and the fact that they haven't announced there's a way to store it. So I feel like you're essentially what you're going to see is more people, once they have money, if there's a wipe, pulling these as just more troll vehicles than anything, just because they're going to be kind of unique. I don't think you're going to see an abundance of people who just start running oil, and also you're going to have to adjust the amount of inventory space the original fuel truck has, because if it has 800, that's way too much. And they would also have to decrease base price.
New fuel things?
Yeah.
Is it a different model for the vehicle, or what is it? Like, I thought it was just a regular vehicle.
Yeah,
There's
different
HEMTs
models.
and Zamax and Tempests.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that then. So it's going to be basically just a bigger fuel truck, basically. Just that doesn't look like a fuel truck.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they
okay.
also added the tar fuel into, so that's going to give an air way to transport that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do fuel as it is, and I don't know if it's because they don't realize it's actually an easy way to make money, or they just realize that they can't store it, so it's kind of like a hope to God you're the only person doing it type of thing, or you're going to get screwed over for it. So, and I feel like with fuel, it drops way too low for it, because if what we talked about before in the show was, McDilly brought it up, was like when people do oil, it has a chance for, not a chance, but it determines like the price of gas if they were to charge for gas. And I feel like with oil, like it's something that doesn't get done enough. When it does, when it gets dropped, it's like there's no point of doing it at all now. So it's like once one person ruins it, there's a good chance that no one else is going to do it till whether it be another restart or something. So maybe it just drops too much whenever you sell.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I feel like it's cool to add more vehicle variety, but at the same time, I don't see it getting used all that much. Like, if anything, you're just going to see an abundance of people buying them and then getting robbed and never buying them again. They'll be pretty prime targets to rob people for. It's like you see someone pull an oil truck, well, you automatically know where they're going and where they're going to sell. So.
And they have to sell within that reset.
Yeah, and they have to sell within that reset, or else you can't store it.
Maybe we talked before about waiting for people to store them, but it's not. It wouldn't be an easy thing to do. It's like you can't just be like, oh well, what if people buy like fuel barrels and they can store the fuel in their house that way? I mean, I guess it isn't a terrible thing to do, but I just don't know how you would decide like how much it can hold and all that kind of stuff. That would make it not OP, but also you'd have to figure out the prices of the barrels and all that to make it to where it's not going to be some super cheap way to store really good stuff. Is there another way you guys can think of like storing the oil?
I'd just be fine if they just made it so you could store it. As lame
just put it in your house.
as that would sound, like just making it so you could just store it would be fine with me, honestly. I mean, you
But
can
you
store
have to-
sand in your house, so
The trucks have to transport it, but even your house could just store it as an item.
Yeah, because kind of like you would basically just pull the truck in your backyard, and if you were actually really were to have oil, you just keep it in your backyard for the time being. I don't know. I think it'd be an easy way to do it. No one likes oil for that whole reason, so this way, if people would actually run oil more, and it wouldn't be one of those legal things that no one ever touches. I don't know. Was that you guys were talking about when I was gone? Just the whole fuel thing.
Yeah, we talked about that, and the oil and gas price relationship that could be possible if gas prices were a thing. But I want to talk about vehicle skins specifically. Don't know if you guys know, but those cop skins. There's new cop skins. It seems like possibly. and they look pretty good.
If
I
you
don't
know
know
what
if,
talking about, I'll link it in chat, and you guys can see if you don't know what he's talking about. But what specifically, like, was there a specific like APD community team medic that you liked the best out of all of them, or like, what was your go-to?
Admin skin.
Oh
no
yes.
one-
Oh my god.
The way that it was, like, the picture was taken, people don't realize that that's a hammer. Like, they don't know what it is, and like, it was just the worst angle we could have went with it.
It looks so much better in game.
Does it look good again? I haven't seen it, so.
What's that admin heli going to be used for? Is just so they could have something to fly around in?
Yeah, just a cool skin for us to have.
Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't do anything special. It's literally a skin.
Just like their go-to, if they fly the Huron, that's what they're flying with that skin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Specifically on the APD skins, my first thought, now I've never played on Asylum before, but from what I've seen on Lyric Stream, is it's a very similar color scheme to the ones that Jendrek has designed.
I've never played on Asylum either. Let me see if I
So
can
my
look it
first
up.
thought is they're similar to Asylum, just based on color scheme, but I like the way they look, so I'm fine with them.
I know that most of the staff right now, some of them, not all of them, but some of them came from Asylum as well, so they might have been inspired. I mean, and that's, I don't think that's a problem. If it
From
is.
my memory, when I used to play on Asylum, they were totally different to. I don't know what they are now. If they are like ours that are gonna be, then they weren't like that in the first place.
Yeah, I'm struggling to find a picture of him right now.
Yeah, I have no idea what the Asylum ones look like at all.
Yeah, I can't find anything for him. I don't know. I like him. I like the new skin. I talked to Jendrek about it already. I liked him, but the only thing that I didn't like and that we talked about, and the whole reason why it's where it was, is the whole badge on it. Like, for certain vehicles, it looks good. It looks fine on the Strider. It looks fine on the the little Hummingbird. On the Ghost Hawk, it looks fine too for where it's at. But it just looks kind of weird on the front of the car, being it so big, maybe. But his whole reasoning was like, if you put it on the side, it messed with the text, and you couldn't read the text that's actually on the badge. I don't think there's another place you could even put it. In like certain spots of like the Hunter and stuff, you can't put it because it's mirrored. Did you just link us? Who uses .co.uk? Man, come on, what the hell?
I do.
America.
No,
So
English.
they have.
English fluid.
So was that like a blue and white? Is that what it is? Blue.
I was
think
I was
it's-
talking more about sport hatchbacks.
I can't find a picture on that.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, what would you? Who does anybody not like the skins here? Like, let's start with that.
I like how the change. I just sitting right here. With the lights on top of the off-road. I'm not sure that's staying like that, or are those going to be coming back on?
Oh, it's. You can answer, Aries, if you know the answer. Why there's no lights
Sorry,
on the
what was
off-road?
the question?
Why there's no lights on the off-road?
Yes. From my understanding, it's because they weren't added to the cop vehicles by standard by Tonic. So he just needs to add it. It's a simple job, but he just hasn't got around to it.
Yeah, it's a whole
I
coding
think
thing.
anyway.
Yeah, I think what Jendrek said was a whole coding thing, and having to do Poseidon has to add it on there and all that stuff. I can't
I
remember.
think
his reason.
in my personal opinion, this is just the one thing that stands out to me about the Ghost Hawk is I think I would almost like the current Ghost Hawk model with this set of cars better than the one that Jen has here.
Do you have a picture of the current one? I don't even remember.
I haven't seen the an up close of it. I can just see that it's all the way in the back there. But
It's
I mean-
it's basically just certain spots of it are just, instead of being black, he just made them gray. It's not a lot. There was a lot of design on it before that he had, but it made it look really nasty, and that's why he removed it. If you look at the front of it in game, it actually has the whole badge on the front and stuff, and it's a little bit designed a little bit more. But it's one of the things you have to hop in game to really see the full picture of. But
Yeah, I don't mind it. I felt like I like the skin on the Ghost Hawk, to be honest, the new one here, the potential new one, because the one that we have right now is so like it just seems over exaggerated, just really saturated with texture that it just seems a little bit weird. I like this new one because it's very sleek and just it seems more feasible and functional than it's like which would what I would feel like the APD would use rather than just super flashy.
Yeah, just simple minimalistic crap.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I don't know, it just kind of boggles my mind. I don't know what the design was, or if they just thought it was just a cool idea. But like the medics have a box truck now.
I don't remember the reason for it. I don't think it's an ambulance. I don't remember what it was supposed to be. Aries, you know?
Not a clue. I don't deal with R&R, so I ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
Like a repair truck, maybe, or something.
Well, they already have the truck. That's supposed to be the repair truck. Here, hold on. Let me ask John. Let me ask John.
Oh, if anyone sees chat there, Jorbis just put some great pictures for the new jail. One with an angle, an overhead picture, and then like one on the map to show. This is like super nice. See, now that jail looks awesome. I think Chindrack may or may not add some like walls or something in there, but it looks really good.
Aries gonna be heading out, guys. So say your final goodbyes with that. Appreciate you coming on, dude. It's always nice to have a staff side of things on there, and I've been trying to get you on for a while now. So hopefully you're not too fucked regardless of work and sleep. Oh, and I think he's already gone. Well, so sorry. Did you go back to what you were saying? I apologize.
Oh, it's fine. I was saying that Borbus had just linked some really, really nice pictures of the jail in the chat there, the new jail location. Now, I don't know if Ginjack is going to add in some walls or anything like that to this area to spice it up or any sort of objects, but the way it is just standalone from the get-go looks really, really nice already. So if you take a look at the picture, especially the overhead, there's quite a bit of cover around the area. I like how it's one lane from the middle to that tower, and then like everywhere around the sides is just like strewn with cover and stuff like that.
Could you link that in the TeamSpeak? Just so I wasn't in the stream when it was linked.
I believe what he's doing is putting up gates obviously at every little section, and I think he's also putting walls and gates where it meets the four roads meet. You know, the crossroads right there at the tower. I think he's also putting up normal walls and gates there as well. But it's not going to be like big walls that people can hide behind. Stuff. Well, I guess you can still hide behind them, but little tiny stuff like the APD Highway Patrol has now. Just little small walls that block people being able to go through those cracks and stuff.
Okay, so is the just based on the screenshot that I'm seeing here, so there's 4 entrances in?
There is
one on the left, one on the bottom.
4, yeah. There's 3 little sections and then the big section.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's like the smaller inner part where there's also 4 entrances. So definitely going to be hard to defend. Definitely going to take a big group to actually take care of this, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're actually really hard to defend that.
Yeah. So it's going to take but the cops also need to be organized. The cops all come through one entrance. It's not going to be as simple as that. Because then because with all the cover everywhere, like if all the cops, to be honest, the best entrance to come to all at once would be like the back entrance there. You could just get right into the dome area. But if the rebels have control of that tower, then you can't defuse the bomb with the rebels up there anyway. So I feel like this particular base is less about protecting the entrances and more about protecting the inside, like having rebels strewn about the outside shooting in. As far as like the outside of the inner perimeter, I don't know how to explain what I'm saying very well, but
I think that smoke grenades are going to be ridiculously strong.
Yes, smoke grenades will be very strong. Those buildings, the interiors of those buildings, those are going to be really strong as well.
I don't even know if you can get inside these ones though.
I don't know either. Yeah,
I think these ones might be not openable, but there's 4 towers here too. There's 1, 2. So you have 3. You have 4 towers, small towers to defend with, plus the large tower. Plus, is that an extra small tower right there on next to the big tower?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's towers on deck for sitting in. I'm curious if I don't know can you see the door though from that point of view? I thought that was a wall right there. I don't think that's the little door that you're thinking of.
What door?
You know, to get inside the prison. You know how it has like the little door that you open to break in.
You talking about into the dome?
Yeah, into the dome. That side you're seeing, I don't think that's the door side.
No. The door is on the side that's facing towards that big tower. The door to get into the dome. I think it's that on the side that faces to that big entrance.
No, it looks like the small side. Look at the bottom right of it. It looks like it's right there.
The bottom right.
Yeah. Towards,
yeah, you might be right.
I think that's where it is. So that'll be. I hope that's it. I don't want people to be able to sit there and just camp it like they did with the current one out in the water.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems interesting. I'll have to check it. We'll have to check it out, I guess. But I'm pretty because the dome on the normal jail has like this kind of a wide portion, but then like, isn't it like a custom door inside? So like it's added in there.
Talking about the door that they break down?
Yeah.
That's just a wall. Yeah, that's just a wall that's stuck inside there. But the inside thing, I don't think is added. I don't know. I'd have to go on the dev server. I haven't been on the dev server in a long time, so I don't know what it looks like. I probably should have done that before we did this, but...
Yeah, it's fine. I think there's also, it's not shown in the screenshot, but there's also some mountains or some hills or whatever to the south of this location that would give you some pretty decent sight lines on the area from the south, and that would also be... I think this prison is really going to be worked on the outside. I think Rebels are going to have to work it from the outside to be able to secure it properly. I think it'll be interesting to see how it works. It might be too easy for the cops. It might be too hard, but
and there's also actually to the left, I believe, is actually another sort of like island part that comes off with a big tower in as well. So people that are like really god shots, I see them sitting up there as well, depending on how far away it is.
Yeah,
it gets clear across the water. Do you guys have any final topics you want to discuss? Kind of bent on actually what the fuck to talk about. It's been a pretty slow week with Olympus, except for the release candidate and not much stuff. Virus fluff.
Yeah.
Anything?
I'm just gonna take one last look here through the patch notes.
I remember when I was a god shot.
I know there was I don't know where I was going with that. Don't have no idea where I was going with that one.
With what one?
I don't know. I don't know what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I started a sentence and literally forgot what I was saying as I was saying the sentence.
I see here that the truck shop now has garages.
Correct.
Oh,
so
really?
The factories
So I
have
feel
truck
like-
shops and the truck shops have garages.
Robbing at truck stops will no longer be possible.
Because we'll just pull and store.
Yep.
Depends how far away they are, because the factories themselves are pretty big. So unless it's just like near it, you might be able to quick rob someone when they pull it out. But there's going to be no like people driving their vehicle, they're upgrading it, and then you rob them as they go out.
Right. I think that there'll be a lot to talk about once this update actually finally comes out. I think once the changes actually go in, because there's undoubtedly and inevitably, as with all game development and modding and all that, there's going to be some bugs that are pretty obnoxious, and we're definitely going to be able to point them out. And I know probably have already addressed it by the time that happens and everything. We'll have plenty to talk about, plenty to give our opinion about once we've actually played with everything. And I'm just really excited for when that happens, and I hope it's soon.
Yeah, definitely. Snake, we usually don't talk about gangs and stuff, and your whole top gangs thing will be basically opinionated as fuck due to the fact that, is a top gang for you considered a gang that has a lot of people, is just really, good, what's the word I'm looking for? Skill-wise, yeah. It's going to be personal opinion for that. And then, of course, every single server is going to have their... top gang. Server 1 itself has multiple people, like multiple gangs that do it, and then there's also other gangs that don't actually sit on one server and they hop through servers when they play, so you can't really decide on the top 3 that way. It's more of a thing you'd have to make a poll on the forums with, but unfortunately I don't think you're able to. Can you give me 2 or 3 concrete examples from your past as to how you have applied changes to the culture of your organization? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
What?
I don't know what that's about. Okay, but we're gonna end the show, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. We hit it strong. The we started late and you guys still chilled around, so I appreciate you guys for doing that. Virus, Fluffy, Aries, if you somehow watch, appreciate you guys coming on. As always, you're welcome again. Thank you. Final notes. Olympus Now is going to be posted every Sunday now. We're going to do a series, a 1.5 series on Sunday, since it's kind of like going to be like a half thing. It won't be as long. Podcast is still going to be every Friday. We're going to figure out what we want to do, if we still want to go forth with a second episode or not. The last couple weeks have been kind of dry due to not a lot of stuff happening, and I don't know the reason for that. So we'll figure out what we want to do, and we'll go from there. But appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, sounds good. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah.
All right.